Liz Engel. She is the digital editor for Cincinnati Business Courier, or Business Journals, as people outside our region would know them, and also the editor of Cincy Inno, a segment of Cincinnati Business Courier that talks about innovation and startups. For those of you not in this area, Cincinnati is a great innovation town.
We have such legacy companies in this region like P&G and Kroger, but what's kind of the next? Who's the next big leader? What's the next big idea? Rally around that idea, build and support those people specifically.
Welcome to That's So Savvy, the podcast where we dive deep into the stories and journeys of remarkable business leaders. Join our host, Nancy Aichholz, a seasoned professional and experienced entrepreneur, on her mission to discover the recipe for business success.
Welcome back, That's So Savvy listeners. I'm your host, Nancy Aichholz, and today I'm wrapping up season 2 with a look back at all the incredible guests who joined me. I had so much fun this season. Lots of good friends, lots of old friends, some new friends, and really learned just a lot about a lot of different industries and a lot of different savvy approaches to business and life in general. It was great. Each conversation was rich with wisdom, honesty, practical tools. And together, I think the whole season really captured what being savvy in life and business is all about. So let's dive into the highlights. First, we started with a good friend, Aisha Armstrong. She's the founder of Vectorous. She's an accomplished author and business strategist, and she brought valuable insights into innovation and scaling. She took the concept of digital services and taught us and taught the world how to productize those digital services. She talked about how leaders can embrace change, think differently about growth, and avoid getting stuck in the business as usual that we all tend to get stuck in. Her practical take on strategy and execution was a reminder that bold ideas only matter if you bring them to life with discipline. And Aisha, being a mountain climber, has definitely got a lot of discipline. So she's just super impressive, and she was fun to be with.
When we talk about productization, we're really talking about how do you take, again, a service, something that's maybe delivered one-to-one through people, and deliver it one-to-many, ideally using technology. For example, just kind of standardizing, let's say you're a marketing agency, you just kind of standardize the different types of engagements that you do, you package them up, they have different price points. That would be a form of productizing services.
Okay.
Or you could go to the extreme and create a software product that helps with automating marketing metrics reporting. And that would be another type of product. You could write a book, you could create a course, like all sorts of things. Those are all ways to scale delivery of services. So that's productization.
Next, we visited with Peter Kleekamp, founder of CLK Communities. He brought a unique perspective on leadership and organizational growth. He started his business as a blacktopping business when he was really not much more than a kid, and had just a really fun history about how he started that and how difficult it was and how hard he worked. He shared lessons from his work in business and community leadership, highlighting the importance of adaptability and building strong relationships. His insights reminded us that success often comes from not just strategy, but also from the people you surround yourself with and how you support them. He is a terrific family man, a great friend, and just a really unique, fun business story and a big story of success.
I work hard, play hard, and for the past 35 years, I'd taken a lot of risk. A lot of risk. But I think it's calculated. I mean, there's good debt. I mean, what 2008 taught me was there's good debt and bad debt.
Right.
I mean, so today, what we do is we measure all of our debt every single month. We make sure that we're not dipping below a 150 debt coverage ratio. The bank requires 120, so we're at 150. We have a lot of disciplines.
Next, we visited with Elizabeth Galbraith. She and I have been friends for a while now, and I always have a great time when I spend time with her. She's the founder of Peak Productivity and has helped me a ton with just basic organization and focus, keeping all the balls in the air for all the things that we all do. life, family, work, new ideas, new strategies, new innovations, all the things that we do kind of on an everyday basis. She keeps it all in line. She left us with some very practical wisdom, and that productivity isn't just about time management, but about energy management. She gave us simple but effective ways to protect our focus and avoid burnout. And she's just a great example of that, because I've never seen Elizabeth have a bad day, and I've never seen her out of energy, even when she's had some injuries and things like that from all of her activities. She just always is full of energy, and you ask her to do something, she always follows through. So I know that she practices what she preaches. So I think that's another episode to really re-listen to, especially as we go into fourth quarter.
But we know that when it comes to work, if part of our brain is thinking about the finances and the other part is thinking about the clients, and we're trying to address all these things and pack it into a couple of hours or one day, that we might do a lot of it, but we're not going to do any of it super well. Allowing ourselves to unitask is the opposite word.
Love that word.
It is seeing something through before we stop and pick up something else that either caught our attention or is more interesting. Humans thrive in structure. We love the flexibility and choice. But if we have too much choice, if we have zero structure, that works against our natural wiring.
Next, we visited with my friend from the West Coast, SeattleMoneyCoach.com founder, Michael-Ann Baltera. She is a money coach and author, and she challenged us to think differently about our relationship with money. She showed us how our money habits are tied to our emotions, encouraged us to build financial systems that truly support the life we want. She is great with getting people out of what she calls the money fog, and she explains that in her episode. She was just terrific to talk to, and everybody can learn from her because we all have money to manage.
The money fog term actually stands for FOG, fog, when people are in fear around money or overwhelm around money or guilt around money. And there's a lot of guilt that really makes my heart sad, but people aren't sure what they can afford to do. And so sometimes they'll just say, forget it. I don't know if I can afford to go to Hawaii. We're going anyways, throw it on the credit card. Or they really do a lot of deprivation and they don't take care of themselves because they're not sure if they can afford to fill in the blank, buy the car, take their kids to Legoland or things like that. And so all of that is part of money coaching and financial therapy, and looking at not only what do we do with money, but why do we do it? What are our beliefs or our attitudes or assumptions that lead us to spend the way that we do, or lead us to not want to know? Because as you know, so many people are foggy and vague, and there's a lot underneath that for people, why people stay vague.
Next, we visited with Kendra Ramirez. She's the founder and CEO of KR Digital Agency. And this was a fascinating episode because AI is becoming a household word. We all need to learn how to use it. We all need to understand it. And we all need to harness its capabilities. She lit off our discussion with her energy around digital strategy and personal growth. Kendra reminded us that technology only works when it's human, and success is rooted in showing up authentically, not just following trends. And I think that was super important because so many people are afraid of AI. They're afraid that it will become smarter than us, it will take over, etc. But the reality is it's just one more tool in our toolbox. And she helps us understand how to best approach this amazing new tool of AI and make the most out of it.
There's just so many things outside of just business that you can use it for. Like you said, recipes. Maybe you've got someone that has some food allergies and they're just tired of the same old recipes.
Right.
And you can ask ChatGPT or any of the AI tools, take a photo and say, what can I make based off what's in my pantry or my fridge?
Oh my gosh. I feel like the Jetsons.
Yes, yes. Or fitness routines, right? You can say, hey, what can I do at home with things that might be around my house? Or, hey, my knee's been giving me a little trouble. So I don't want anything that's going to affect that.
Yeah.
So give it the context and be really specific about the goals and outcomes that you have.
Right.
And it'll write a plan for you. Or you can write an itinerary for a trip. You can say, hey, I want to go hiking in Jacksonville. Give me a 7-day itinerary. Give me places to stay, things to see, places to eat. It'll write the whole itinerary as well.
So next, we visited with a good friend, Elizabeth Pierce. We go way back. She is the CEO of the Cincinnati Museum Center. It is an iconic building in itself. The building itself has history and a museum just from the architecture standpoint. And you may have seen the inside of Cincinnati Museum Center recently in the new Superman movie. If you haven't seen it, go see it just so that you can see Union Terminal. She added her perspective from leading in the nonprofit and cultural sector. She talked about balancing mission with sustainability, which is a real challenge, and what it really takes to lead with vision while navigating real world challenges. I was just speaking with her not too long ago, and we were talking about the challenges of what happens during the summer. What happens when all these kids are back in school and back in their sports? What do you do to keep your museum active and vibrant and full of people? And she is a master at that.
What I think is so interesting that we're able to do with this intersectionality of things is to create layers of learning, because we know like the best of the best from the science center world and think about the exploratorium and the hands-on nature of stuff. Then we can take that and apply that to these history collections that we have and these fossil collections that we have, and just create layers upon ways to interact with photography and with documents, and step onto the streetcar. And the streetcar is now animated through video, and that pulls out items from the collection that we might not always have a chance to display. And so the use of technology, as well as the use of hands-on, I was just showing the museum to a visitor from California, and we were in the Made in Cincinnati gallery, which is one of my favorite things that we've done in the last several years. And it's just a love letter to Cincinnati industry and business and all the ways in which Cincinnati's made an impact on the national and local economy. But there literally is a machine tool that I, as a non-machinist, non-scientist, non-technical person, can understand how to use.
How interesting.
And it's like you get a sense of what is really the history of the machine tool and the physics of the machine tool. And so my brain lights up and I learn about it in a different way.
And then next, we visited with Nancy Aichholz, who is the founder of a mental health support organization called 1 and 5, the number 1, letter N, number 5, 1 and 5. This is one of the most heartfelt conversations I think I had the whole season. Nancy shared her advocacy around mental health. She told us her own heartbreaking story of losing her husband to suicide while she still had young kids at home. She gave us a brave look at the importance of reducing the stigma around mental health and creating safe spaces for real conversation. This organization and Nancy have been so impactful in our region. I know that 1 in 5 is an organization that is a role model for cultures and communities all over the country that can find in 1 in 5 the structure they may need for their own communities to support their mental health initiatives in their own communities.
Over time, that's really in that suicide prevention space. But over time, we've really gone more upstream as to figure out, how do you take care of your brain? What does that look like? What are protective factors? How do you build resiliency in people? And for people to understand what that looks like. And it's really very basic. It's like, what are your friend relationships? What are your family relationships? Who are the people? Who are your trusted adults? What are the things that bring you happiness? Is it going for a walk? Is it playing sports? Is it listening to music? What does that look like for you? And making sure that everybody understands what that looks like for them. And then the people that are in their sphere understand what it looks like for somebody else. So I would understand what it looks like for you, and you would understand what it looks like for me.
Okay.
So if you start to be concerned about somebody and maybe they like to go for walks, say, oh, I feel like you're stressed right now. I feel like you're not in a good place. Let's go for a walk.
Next, totally switch gears, and we spoke with Christy Johnson. She is a partner at Fire Road, which is an interesting fund that helps democratize the funding aspect of businesses. She brought us a fresh perspective on leadership and resilience. She showed us that the best leaders don't just drive results. They also balance data with empathy, blending strength with humanity. She was a lot of fun to talk to. She's so knowledgeable. And I learned a lot about the whole concept of funding of businesses because there's so much to it and there are so many different ways that companies can be funded at different stages in their growth. And she is an expert and was really good at walking us through that kind of alphabet soup of funding.
When Fire Road launched, we coalesced around this premise of a good job is a really good thing for people. And we have a couple bullet points around what we think an actual good job is. It's not just high pay. Right. It has some other characteristics. And the fundamental work of entrepreneurship, I think you could look at it two ways. You could look at it, it's innovation. It's creating something new, a new product, a new technology, a new medical intervention, some entrepreneurship in that kind of frontier discover invention side. And we kind of look at it from a company and value creation side, more commercially around creating a company where people can realize life-giving work, where they are led by people of character and where they also can express the skills and the passions and the interests that are innate to who they are.
From money to mental health, from leadership to productivity, and even building communities, these conversations gave us so many ways to live and work with more savvy. Thank you for joining me this season. Stay tuned for season 3. I am super excited about season 3, The Savvy Business of Food, where we'll dive into branding, entrepreneurship, and fascinating stories behind what we eat and the businesses behind the food we enjoy.